Paul, Deluded, Norwich 2, Arsenal 2. We might as well review the player ratings. You lot kill me in the comments because before this game I was going over my video comments just briefly because I can't lie, it's getting out of control. People lot are showing me mad love. What was it? The videos around when Emery bust out. You know, when I'm on the road, I was doing the vids in my reaction with Emery. And you lot are saying, DG, you're smiling, I can't believe it. And all of these things. And I like to think I'm still smiling and that. I mean, you don't think I'm some serious guy as much as I am. But yeah, man. Arsenal, it is what it is, man. Quick note before we get into it. It is what it is, people. It's big, like, listen, if you've been watching Arsenal, you know I've run out of words to describe us. You've run out of words to describe us. It's a different day, same shit. Defensive errors on our part. Obviously, lack of... Well, would you really say our goals were quality or were they as a result of Norwich making poor errors? I say the latter. Norwich, for as decent as they played after waking up after the first 10-20, they let themselves down for the second goal from the corner that led to Aubameyang's goal. And also, the first goal, Zimmerman, is a handball, whether it's harsh or not. We didn't really make them goals, you get what I'm saying? And we even had to have a second try of the penalty with Aubameyang. So you see what I'm saying? So lack of when we have been scoring this season, generally it's been teams making poor errors, and it's really either set pieces or that. We didn't really build on our initial pressure. That being said, I did think for the first 10-20, we're playing forward a bit better, we're pressing a bit better. There were some positives. Ljungberg isn't going to change anything until May, at least until Jan if he's allowed the centre half. I don't think it's anything to do with Ljungberg. I just think these players, they're just so stuck in their thinking. As much as I think Emery was poor and Wenger had his issues, there's two managers, potentially a third, same errors happening. Some of these players are simply uncoachable. Some of these players have bad habits picked up under Wenger and Emery. It's going to be a time, and Ljungberg might not be the man to do it. He might not have the minerals to do it. He might simply not have the time to do it. So we can't expect too much, man. It is what it is. It really is what it is. I'm going to start off with Leno. I'll give Leno a 7, people, purely, but maybe even an 8. You know, I'm going to give Leno an 8 because it could have been worse without him. He made second half. How many saves did he make? Some were straight at him. Let me not gas it, but how many saves did Leno sit there and make, people? Bare enough saves the boy there make. Serious, bruv. He saved us. So, and I've got my question marks over Leno. I think he's a good keeper, but time to times there are, ironically, some goals I think he should save, and his distribution certainly at times is a bit poor. But since the man's come here, what I can't understand, if you're getting Leno, who is 24 or so, kind of young for a goalkeeper, we've got Tierney now, you got Bellerin, you got Oldin, you got these guys. Why have we not made more of a sustained effort to put a better defence in front of him and just have a better, and just on top of that, marry together the back four with it, if it's going to be Holding and another centre half, Tierney and Bellerin, with Leno, good in terms of age, and can be the pillar, which I would say, to Arsenal becoming a consistent top 4 side. Do you get it, people? Is it any coincidences? Spurs, for instance, Tottenham's defence has been a bit calam in the last 2 seasons, and I know they got to the final, but they haven't been as solid as and has had a good of a season, in my opinion, away from getting the champs domestically, other than you remember that 6 season Spurs, I hate to say, but they went unbeaten at home. They were just solid in front of defence. Yeah, they were playing 3 at the back, 5-4, they're just solid in it. Pep Guardiola's had injuries in defence and they've had some inconsistent results. Liverpool have been great and they've had issues defensively, people, this season. And obviously if they weren't, 11 points or so clear, I believe, in the table now, and they weren't winning games, people might ask more questions of that. Do you get it? But either way, all them teams there improved at a point from improving their defence, not just in terms of bringing people in, how they think. Do you think if Liverpool just signed Van Dijk and just threw him in there, it'd make the difference? No, of course his quality would show people. But you had Robertson and Trent understanding their roles. You obviously had Matip, you had Fabinho in front of them. And if not Fabinho, it's Wijnaldum and Henderson. Everybody understanding their role. The front three, yes, they score goals. And as an Arsenal fan, I've seen all of them embarrass my team, so I know firsthand. But them man, they're pressed. They make them fouls, them tactical fouls. They're the first line of defence. That's not always there at Arsenal. When it is, it's not coordinated. There was a couple of times today as well, people. I was thinking, how did they get out of there? Why are we not pressing? Box them in. Obviously, they can't hear me and stuff, and Ljungberg knows more than me and these players do. But how are these? It's like 5-6 men are chasing the ball around it. They're managing to get out. The second goal, how are they managing to have that? How is Cantwell able to score that? I'm not saying this is from anything with him, but look how the goal originated. Go and pre it. But I'm ranting. Let's stick with the facts. Leno gets a 7. You know, like I said, an 8 if I didn't. Louise and Mustafi get 4s, people. I mean, they were terrible today. Let's keep it 100. They were terrible. I'm torn between a 4 and a 5 for Chambers because I think Chambers had it tough, but I saw a bit more. I'm going to give him a 5 because I saw a bit more from Chambers than the other two. Defensively, he was caught high up the field time and time again. He hasn't got the quality in the final third really to help us a couple of times, but the application is there. But I think Chambers, he's shown he's a squad player at best. So I'm going to give him a 5 because he was a bit better than the other two. But on another day, it potentially could be a 4. Guendouzi and Xhaka, I believe they can get a 5 now. I think Guendouzi started off very well, deteriorated like the rest of the midfield. Everybody in the midfield. I think all the midfielders, Xhaka, we'll get on to Ozil, but Xhaka, Guendouzi and Joe, I think they started off well and they all deteriorated. And I think they were all quite poor today, really and truly. So I'm going to give them both 5s. I'm going to give Joe a 4. I'm a big Joe fan, but I just think Joe, after the first 10-20, I think he was poor and I think he had a hand in the first and second goal. He wasn't directly to blame. There's several people. But as a young man, one criticism I do have of Joe Willock is his defensive side of the game. He mashes work in the applications there, but sometimes he's got to press a bit quicker. He's got to read situations. He's going to have to learn these lessons, and it's not a criticism, but I just think he done very well to stay on the field as long as he did, because I think his standards dropped. And maybe that's why, for as much as I think he should have, Emery was reluctant to start him in games. Under Ljungberg, Joe will get better. Joe will get plenty good games. Joe's had plenty good games. I mean, he bossed Liverpool and he was poor today. These young players are trying to develop consistency. I believe in Joe Willock. I think he's going to be a decent player of some capacity here. But keeping it 100 and keeping it a buck, I think he was a 4 today. I think Ozil can walk away with a 5 today, potentially even a 6, but I'm going to say a 5. I think he looked decent, creating chances and whatnot. Technically had a hand in both of the goals as well, with the corner and the free kick. Yes, he can do better, of course, but do you know what? I'm going to give him a 6, people. Lacazette, I give him a 4. Should have scored early on. I just think Lacazette was trash today. I think he was trash. Very slow. Like, you know, I like Lacazette. He does them neat little touches and stuff, but they're not paying off. I think Lacazette's been in poor form now. It's harsh me saying that because in our last Premier League game, didn't he knock in a brace? Sorry, people, I can't remember, but he gets a 4. Aubameyang weren't amazing, but I can't not give him an 8. He scored 2 goals. Yes, he missed a penalty and made no mistake second time round, and he scored the equaliser. He was playing on the flanks, and on top of that, I don't think he had the best of games. But what more can you ask from your striker? He scored 2 goals away from home, removed them 2 goals, we lose. So he gets an 8. I think Torreira gets a 6 from just based on what I don't think he was on long enough to really give a rating, but based on his minutes, some important blocks, unlucky not to score. Who else was there off the bench, people? Saka. Probably give him a 4, 5, probably a 4. Really, Saka was ineffective. I still believe in Saka. I can't believe fans are turning on him. It's ridiculous. This is why what pisses me off about football fans or Arsenal fans. They did it with Nelson, they did it with Joe, and they're now feeling Joe. Stop fucking flip flopping on these young players. Whether you believe they can do it or not's another thing. But it's this flip flopping. It's like people don't understand. These guys are still. Constructive criticism is not flip-flopping. I just had constructive criticism of Joe. I said he can improve defensively. But you can't call a man good one week, then call him dead the next week. You don't know what... And this is down for these young players. We don't know what we're going to get from... If you threw Martinelli in for 10 games, I think he'd do well. You don't know what him, Saka, these men are going to give you. Saka at a point was starting because he earned his spot. He's had a bit of a knock and he's been poor. I would have brought on Pepe. But it is what it is. Don't turn on him because you was wanking yourselves over him when he played very well at Old Trafford. They're going to have good and bad games. Joe's had good and bad games. I've just mentioned Liverpool. Well, twice against Liverpool at Anfield, he's been quality. I could be wrong, but Newcastle earlier on in the season as well. He's had some tough games as well. Do you get it? They're all going to have to learn. Stand behind them. Don't say this one week and this the other. Of course you're allowed to change your opinion. If you believe this guy was the next star and you think he's not, now that's cool. But don't flip-flop because it's not healthy, and it's not healthy for these players, people. And it's like people don't understand. Again, I'm not excusing mistakes. I'm not saying you can't criticise them. I'm going at the irrationalness, people. It's sad. It is sad and it's illogical and it pees me off, people. Come on now, especially with these young players. I'm not excusing them, but how can they thrive in this madness which has been done from the board in terms of mismanagement from Emery? Ljungberg, I'm not going to say mismanagement from him because some of the things were good today, some of them weren't, but he's just stepped in the role. How can these players thrive consistently in a madness, people? It's ridiculous and it annoys me. It really annoys me. So there's Saka. I'm probably missing out another sub. Saka, Torreira came on. I'm definitely missing someone else out. Let me check, people. I'm definitely missing a man out. But does it really matter? And if I'm missing them out, were they really effective? I have to ask. Really and truly. Wait, did he use 2 subs? I mean 3 subs? That's it, Martinelli. Yeah, realistically, Martinelli never had long enough to make anything happen. Let's be serious, people. He didn't have long enough to make nothing happen. Can't really give him a rating through no fault of his own. On that note, though, people, DG, I'm out.